All right, let's talk about Derek Carr. Derek Carr and the Saints, who, I thought through 4 weeks it was kind of an up and down start, and I especially thought last week for Carr, he just didn't look healthy to me and maybe shouldn't have even been out there, but he looked back in this game, I thought. Not to say it was like a perfect performance, and certainly, New England helped them out at times, and we'll get into all of that, but as a whole, it's cool to see Derek Carr look like Derek Carr again. He's the guy that they paid money to, they paid him money to play like this, and so definitely Saints fans have to be thrilled with what they saw this week. So yeah, let's just get into it. All right, let's start off with this play. It's going to be a zone coverage play that the New England Patriots are going to be in right here, and you see how this route can work, right? Going to get into a gap in coverage kind of in the middle of the field. So, okay, on paper, makes sense for Carr to look in that direction. However, when this play begins, you're going to notice that there's, a window for him to get towards the outside of the, get outside the pocket, right? And, he doesn't have to go in that direction. He for sure doesn't have to. However, going there can do two things for Carr. One, it can just give you more time, right? You have more time to make a throw. Now, you don't necessarily always need more time. Sometimes, even if you have, a way to get, in position where there's not going to be any pressure, it's good to, just make the throw because, hey, hit the open guy. But also watch how when he moves, he also then stops and throws, and it gives himself a better angle to make this throw. And on top of it, he doesn't have to worry about getting hit as you're thrown, which obviously helps because it can allow you to make a more accurate throw. And also, you don't want to get hit, right? From the physicality aspect of it, you could get hurt, and just it's not fun to get hit. So from every aspect, it makes sense to do this, except for one. You are now having to throw a bit off balance, and that is something that is not easy to do, right? However, Carr's throw is right on the money, able to hit Michael Thomas, and they're able to pick up a decent gain there. So these are kind of the little things that Carr just does so well, and part of why you go after a veteran quarterback instead of drafting a guy like we see other teams do. Again, there's pros and cons to both. Obviously, drafting a guy has the much higher ceiling when you go after a veteran. By nature, there's going to be a team that decided they don't want him anymore, or at the very least was at least okay with letting him go. But the benefit is you're going to get someone who can do little things that other players, can't really do. Going over here, we got to talk about New England's role in all of this, helping out the Saints offense. For one thing, actually putting points on the board for the Saints is never good. The Mac Jones pick six of it all. But also, I thought that there were some not great defensive plays. Like, look at that. Those two players right there, a New England player and a New Orleans player. Watch how right when this play begins, this is Rashid Shaheed who's running this route, and you see how New England is trying to get a switch here, get someone else to cover Shaheed. The guy who's currently lined up on him does not want to cover him since Shaheed is running deep over the middle. Okay, this makes sense. However, when Carr eventually looks over there, that's not how to play initially, that's not where he initially looked, but eventually gets over there, sees, Shaheed's wide open on this play. New England, if they were trying to pull off a switch, did not do a very good job, and at this point, you just have a wide open New Orleans player. I feel like I keep saying New England or New Orleans. I'm getting those confused in my head. Too close together. I'll say Patriots and Saints from now on, but a wide open Saints player, which is, on one hand, you can argue not the most difficult play for Derek Carr to pull off. The other aspect, though, is that, again, these are the benefits of having someone like Derek Carr, is he's going to scan the field really well, has good field vision, and when you're in these situations, he's not going to miss them. As you see, really accurate throw, and they're able to get the ball inside the 10-yard line right there. These types of plays obviously are huge in a football game, and Carr's able to pull these types of things off. Also going over here, this is another example of what Carr can do and just what makes the Saints offense work. Because, the Saints have good receivers for sure, like Chris Olave, for example, who we're going to talk about on this play. It's, again, a zone coverage concept in the red zone, big play in the game, right? Sure, you're up 14, but 14 isn't 40, right? I mean, still definitely a ball game, especially one for the Patriots. They're thinking, hey, we kind of gave them 7 points here. It's, could be a closer game. Well, watch how when Carr takes the snap, you're going to see that Olave actually, he started off running towards the top of the screen, is then going to cut back towards the bottom of the screen. That's kind of how he did this. He looked up, realized the concept, turns around, and goes back that way. I don't think that's by design. I think that's just, hey, the situation is going on for a while. That's not open. Let me do something else. Carr alertly recognizes what Olave is doing and makes the throw. You saw a New England player jump up and try to bat the ball away, but was not able to do it because Carr throughout this point has made a very accurate throw. And as you see, it ends up right into Chris Olave's arms. Really good throw, but also, again, just the awareness for Derek Carr. That's a big part of what they brought him in for, is for the awareness. Going over here, I don't want to sit here and say that it's still a completely well-oiled machine, as to be expected, right? I mean, how was Tom Brady 5 weeks into his, first tenure with Tampa Bay? It took time, right? And it's going to take time with Derek Carr here, and we're still seeing that a little bit, like on this play. It's going to be a zone coverage play, and it's going to be the great Jimmy Graham running underneath. Also worth mentioning, just a game situation, 3rd down and 9 right here. Okay, that's definitely worth noting. Carr is going to take the snap. He is going to look underneath. He fires underneath, and you see how Jimmy Graham is kind of almost going back towards the football. Watch, as you see, it ends up falling incomplete. I'm going to show a different angle. I think that'll kind of show it a little bit better. You see how Carr was expecting Graham. I don't think this was a missed throw. I think Carr was expecting Graham to stop. Graham did kind of stop, but a little basically after the ball was thrown, so it didn't really help there. I think that's a miscommunication. Again, who knows? We're not in the huddle. But to me, that's not necessarily a missed throw or anything like that. It's just guys still trying to get on the same page right here, still trying to figure out exactly how this whole thing works, which again is to be expected when you haven't played together. So no big deal, just bringing it up. If anything, maybe this is something that can get you more optimistic if you are a New Orleans Saints fan, is that, hey, there's even room to grow with some of this stuff. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Carr. On the Saints in general, again, it's one of those weird things where it's like the game really did get away from New England at a certain point, but I still thought Carr was making the right plays and helping the game get away from New England as well in that second half as well, when things kind of got off the rails there. Really the first half, though, what he was able to do there was kind of what that's what got New England kind of dead, basically, along with New England's own quarterback issues. That did not help, but as a whole, definitely an exciting win for the Saints. And again, it's one of those things where you can sit here and blame the competition all you want. Oh, the Patriots, this and that. But let's just be honest. We've seen enough Saints games over the years that no team, when things go right, makes their opponent look more foolish than the New Orleans Saints. It's not to say the Saints win more than any other team, but when they win, they make you look stupid more than any other team. There's no team there's no team that you'd want to lose to less than the Saints. I don't know what it is, but they find a way to not just when they win, not just win, but make the other team look terrible, and that's what they did here, and Carr was a part of it. So yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.